According to the book American Pandemic, The Lost Worlds of the 1918 Influenza Epidemic by Nancy K. Bristow, U.S. Senator Lee Slater Overman declared in January 1919 that a cure for the Spanish influenza had been found. "I want to say, for the benefit of those who are making this investigation," he reported, "that in the mountain country of North Carolina, that they have cured Spanish influenza with baking soda, that they have no deaths up there at all, they use common baking soda, which cures the disease." Nowadays, Senator Overman is more well known for playing a role in the first American Red Scare, and that he also filibustered against the Dyer anti-lynching bill in 1922, which intended to establish lynching as a federal crime. As of this recording, year of our Lord 2020, there is no federal anti-lynching law. Yeah. Back to baking soda. It's handy, but not in the can cure influenza way. I mean, I don't care what Overman's judge buddy back in North Carolina told him, or what your all-green, anti-vax aunt swears by. It's just baking soda, and it's not a miracle cure. Sure, I use it all the time when I have heartburn and am completely out of antacids, especially now that I'm trying to not make frivolous shopping trips. Gotta maintain that social distancing. Just mix a quarter teaspoon of baking soda in a full glass of water and voila! All should have begun, at least for me. Wait. If the world as I knew it ended tomorrow, how would we make baking soda? Baking soda. Or bicarbonate of soda if you're not American. Bicarbonate of soda just sounds so much grander than baking soda. Bicarbonate of soda has real potential. Bicarbonate of soda is going places, doing things. Baking soda is still trying to figure out whether to watch something on Netflix or Hulu tonight. Oh, who is baking soda kidding? Baking soda is just going to give up after an hour and just stare at the cats until sleep comes. But hey, baking soda is a leavening agent. Ugh, love a quick leavening agent. Who doesn't love an explosion of CO2? Not to be confused with baking powder, which is baking soda cut with an acidic dry ingredient, and usually cornstarch as well to act as a buffer. Can't roast the soda and acid reacting before it's needed, after all. So short version, you can't have baking powder without baking soda, and let's just leave it at that. But baking soda! Humans have had it forever, right? I mean, it's so basic, so essential. Well... Okay, so the first step to making sodium bicarbonate is you need sodium carbonate. Historically, you could get sodium carbonate from burning organic matter like seaweed or wood, or by mining natron from dry lake beds, which the ancient Egyptians used for things like cleaning and making mummies. Everyone had their own way of making sodium carbonate. England, for example, used kelp. But the results could be wildly inconsistent in potency, and for many countries, you still had to import it for industries like glass making, soap making, for textiles. Enter King Louis XVI of France, who offered a prize to industrialize sodium carbonate production on the French home front. And in 1791, French chemist Nicolas Leblanc devised the Leblanc process. Sodium chloride, aka table salt, was heated with sulfuric acid, producing sodium sulfate and hydrochloric acid. The sodium sulfate was then heated with coal and limestone to form sodium carbonate, or soda ash. Good news, everyone! You have produced a consistently potent version of sodium carbonate. Bad news, everyone! You created a lot of gnarly waste product now. Seriously, you'd have waste like hydrochloric acid gas, and hydrogen chloride, and tons of calcium sulfide, which then would release hydrogen sulfide, another toxic gas. Oh, and Leblanc never got his prize money because of a little something I like to call the French Revolution. Anyway, by the 1860s, two Belgian brothers, Ernest and Alfred Solvay, came to the rescue with the Solvay process, where carbon dioxide and ammonia are passed into a concentrated solution of sodium chloride. It's less expensive, requires less steps, still creates waste though, and is a process still used to make sodium carbonate throughout some parts of the world. Of course, there's always a third option, which is mining it. Trona ore is a natural deposit which, when heated, creates sodium carbonate. And good news, everyone! The USA has the largest deposit of Trona ore in the world near Green River, Wyoming. 100 billion tons of the stuff, enough to supply the world for thousands of years. Just think of all those delicious cookies. The cupcakes. The muffins. Now, whether the sodium carbonate is mined or processed, if you dissolve it and then bubble carbon dioxide through it, sodium bicarbonate precipitates out. Finally, we've achieved baking soda. Wait, okay, so, but then when did we start putting baking soda in baked goods, like, as a thing? Enter New York State bakers John Dwight and Austin Church, who in 1846 discovered that, holy CO2, Batman, you can use sodium bicarbonate as a chemical leavening agent in baking. Just add acid. Together, they established the first baking soda factory in the U.S. And then there were the baking powder wars, but that's a discussion for another time. Wait, Nella, are you really telling me commercial baking soda is only 174 years old? Why, yes, other Nella, that's exactly what I'm telling you. What the hey were people using before that? You can't expect us to do all this science if the world as we know it ends tomorrow. I'm not going all the way to Wyoming to mine Trona. I don't know how to bubble CO2 through sodium carbonate. There has to be another way. Well, fine. If we can't science more baking soda in the apocalypse, we'll just have to use whatever our grandsires used before 1846. Which, good luck with that, because it was yeast. And it wasn't yeast you just picked up at a store, it was sourdough. And I love sourdough as much as the next person. Although my sourdough starter doesn't seem to love me. But using yeast takes hours. And then your cookies and cakes will taste like sourdough. Okay, I mean, you could try using pearl ash, like what was done between 1790 and the 1840s. Just bake potash to remove impurities, leaving behind pearl ash. What's potash? Well, I just soak wood ash overnight in water, filter out the solids, and let the solution evaporate, leaving behind crystals. That's potash. Oh, just be careful though. That solution you're evaporating is lye, which, that will burn your skin off. Oh, you could go the German route and use hartshorn, which is ammonia. Baker beware on hartshorn, however, because if you don't bake it right, it will smell of urine. So, if the world ended tomorrow, unless we all learned chemistry real quick, we can probably say goodbye to quick breads and cookies and pound cakes and... unless... Okay, so hear me out. Nacalite is a naturally occurring sodium bicarbonate and is often found in evaporated lake basins. And it happens to exist in large quantities in the central salt body of Cerros Lake, California, as well as in oil shale deposits in Colorado, where it is commercially mined and is what you get in a bag of Bob's Red Mill baking soda. And hey, for my international friends, you can always find it also in Botswana, Kenya, Uganda, Turkey, Mexico. So, if the world ended tomorrow, and we were the ragged few survivors of the apocalyptic event, and years down the line we reach the end of our supply of baking soda, the answer is clear. Apocalypse road trip to Colorado. That's right. Stephen King knew what was up. As ever, thank you to my ear lenders, Ashley Tamajan, Avi Finkel, Chandra, Johan Gustafson, John Smith, Steve Harper, and William Christopher. I just want to say that I've received some really amazing postcards since Shelter in Place in New York has begun, and because I have so many, I am thinking of doing a Postcard Palooza episode, so stay tuned for that. In the meanwhile, I hope you all are safe and healthy, and that you're able to find some joy in the world, regardless of everything that's going on. Take care of yourselves and the people around you.